You stand on the edge of a world sculpted by ice and wind, a landscape so immense it swallows the horizon, leaving only the stark, skeletal silhouettes of ancient larches against a sky the color of bruised plums. The air itself is a living thing, a sharp, crystalline entity that seeps into your very bones, stealing the warmth from your fingertips and the breath from your lungs with each shallow gasp. It is ancient Siberia, a land that has known the embrace of winter for millennia, a place where the sun, when it deigns to appear, casts long, pale shadows that offer no comfort, only a stark reminder of the vast, indifferent emptiness that surrounds you. You are a wanderer, a hunter, a survivor, and as the last vestiges of the short, fleeting day begin to fade, painting the western sky with streaks of muted orange and deep violet, a profound sense of urgency begins to prickle at the back of your neck. The temperature, already a brutal assault, will plummet further with the setting sun, transforming the crisp air into a suffocating blanket of frozen needles. Your eyes scan the desolate expanse, searching for any sign of shelter, any slight depression in the snow-covered terrain, a cluster of hardy pines, or a rock outcrop that might offer a momentary reprieve from the relentless wind that whips across the plains, carrying with it fine particles of ice that sting your cheeks. Your breath, a visible cloud, hangs before you, a fleeting testament to your presence in this unforgiving realm, before it is snatched away by the frigid currents. The silence is profound, broken only by the rhythmic crunch of your snowshoes. Each step a deliberate effort, a testament to the sheer or required to move through this frozen wilderness. You feel the weight of your pack, the precious few tools and provisions that represent the thin line between life and oblivion, pressing against your shoulders, a constant reminder of your vulnerability. The cold seeps through the layers of your thick, fur-lined garments, a persistent, insidious presence that seeks out every weakness, every exposed patch of skin. You pull the hood of your parka tighter, burying your face deeper into the warmth of the fur, but the chill still finds its way, a phantom touch against your nose and lips. Your fingers, encased in thick mittens, begin to ache, a dull throb that promises a deeper or painful numbness if you do not find warmth soon. The light continues to drain from the sky, and the stars, sharp and impossibly bright, begin to emerge, pinpricks of distant fire in the inky blackness above. Each one seems to mock your smallness, your fragility, against the cosmic indifference of this frozen world. You push forward, one foot in front of the other, your gaze fixed on the faint, almost imperceptible rise in the distance, a promise of something, anything, that might break the monotony of the flat, snow-covered expanse. The wind picks up, a low, mournful moan that seems to carry the lament of ages, swirling the snow into ghostly eddies that dance across the frozen ground. You feel the fine powder stinging your eyes, forcing you to squint, to lower your head against the onslaught. The world narrows to the small circle of your immediate vision, the endless white, the biting wind, the desperate need for warmth and shelter. Your muscles protest with each movement, a deep, pervasive ache that speaks of exhaustion. But you cannot stop, not yet. To stop is to invite the cold to claim you, to allow the insidious numbness to creep from your extremities to your core. The thought of a fire, a small, flickering beacon of warmth, becomes a powerful, almost hypnotic image in your mind, driving you forward, pushing you beyond the limits of what you thought possible. You imagine the crackle of burning wood, the scent of smoke, the gentle heat radiating outwards, chasing away the pervasive chill. It is a dream, a distant hope, but it is enough to fuel your weary steps. The vastness of Siberia stretches before you, a silent, formidable challenge, and as the last sliver of light vanishes, plunging the world into a profound, star-dusted darkness, you know that the true test of endurance has only just begun. The darkness descends with a swift, brutal finality, wrapping the landscape in an impenetrable shroud that seems to absorb all sound, all light. all hope. You are now moving through a world defined by touch and memory, your feet instinctively seeking out the firmer ground beneath the snow, your hands occasionally brushing against the rough bark of a hidden tree or the smooth, cold surface of a wind-sculpted drift. The wind, no longer a mere whisper, has become a roaring beast, a relentless force that pushes against you, threatening to steal your balance with every gust. It carries with it a fine, stinging snow, a constant assault that finds its way into every crevice of your clothing, melting against your skin only to refreeze, creating a layer of icy discomfort. Your breath comes in ragged gasps, each one a painful reminder of the frigid air filling your lungs. The ache in your fingers has intensified, a deep, throbbing pain that suggests the onset of a dangerous numbness, and you instinctively clench and unclench your fists inside your thick mittens, trying to coax some circulation back into them. The thought of shelter, any shelter, becomes an obsession, a singular focus that overrides all other sensations. You remember the stories, the ancient wisdom passed down through generations, of how the land itself could offer refuge, how the snow, though an enemy, could also be a friend. Your eyes, though straining in the darkness, begin to discern the subtle contours of the snowdrifts, the way the wind has sculpted them into graceful yet formidable shapes. You spot a particularly large drift, one that seems to have piled against a low, rocky outcrop, offering a potential anchor for a temporary dwelling. With renewed, though weary, determination, you begin to work. Your hands, despite the pain, become tools, scooping and shaping the snow, feeling for its consistency, its density. You learn quickly that the snow, when packed just right, can be surprisingly strong, a natural insulator against the biting cold. You use your snowshoe as a makeshift shovel, carving out a small, coffin-like space within the drift, pushing the loose snow outwards, creating a small, enclosed chamber. The work is slow, arduous, and each movement sends shivers through your already chilled body, but the promise of even a slight reprieve from the wind's relentless assault keeps you going. You feel the fine snow clinging to your eyelashes, melting and refreezing, blurring your vision, but you persist, driven by the primal instinct for survival. The space you carve is small, just large enough for you to curl into a fetal position, but it offers a crucial barrier against the direct force of the wind. You smooth the interior walls, packing the snow tightly, creating a surprisingly sturdy dome. The air inside, though still frigid, is noticeably calmer, less violent than the tempest raging outside. You crawl into the cramped space, pulling your pack in after you, and immediately feel a subtle shift in the atmosphere. The howling of the wind, though still audible, is muffled, a distant, mournful cry rather than a direct assault. You pull your legs up to your chest, wrapping your arms around yourself, trying to conserve every precious calorie of body heat. The cold still permeates everything, but it is a more bearable cold, a static chill rather than a dynamic, biting force. You close your eyes, listening to the muffled sounds of the storm outside, the creak of the snow as it settles, a faint whisper of the wind against the packed walls of your temporary sanctuary. The darkness inside is absolute, a comforting void that allows your mind to drift, to focus solely on the sensation of your own breath, the slow, steady beat of your heart. You are a small, fragile spark of life in an immense, frozen world, but for this moment, you have found a fragile peace, a temporary victory against the overwhelming power of ancient Siberia. The hours stretch on, marked only by the deepening cold and the slow, almost imperceptible shift of your body as you try to find a more comfortable position. You are not truly warm, but you are not freezing, and in this land, that is a triumph. The profound darkness of the snow shelter eventually begins to yield to a faint, almost imperceptible gray, a subtle shift that signals the slow, reluctant return of the sun. You stir, your muscles stiff and protesting from the cramped confines of your temporary refuge, each joint a dull ache. The air inside the snow cave, though still cold, feels heavy with your exhaled breath, a testament to the hours you have spent huddled within its icy embrace. A deep, pervasive hunger gnaws at your stomach, a hollow emptiness that demands attention, but a more immediate, primal need asserts itself, the need for fire. The thought of its warmth, its flickering light, its ability to transform the raw, frozen world into something more hospitable is a powerful magnet. You carefully push your way out of the snow cave, emerging into a world still shrouded in the pale, ethereal light of dawn. The wind has lessened, though a biting chill still permeates the air, and the snow, undisturbed by the night's tempest, lies in pristine, unbroken drifts, sparkling with a million tiny diamonds under the nascent light. Your eyes scan the immediate vicinity, searching for the telltale signs of fuel. Fallen branches, dried grasses, anything that might catch a spark and sustain a flame. The search is painstaking, each potential piece of tinder or kindling requiring careful inspection, for moisture is the enemy of fire in this frozen land. You scrape away the top layer of snow from a fallen birch branch, revealing the papery bark beneath, a promising source of quick-burning material. You gather small, brittle twigs, snapping them with a satisfying crack, and larger pieces of deadwood, their surfaces rough and cold against your gloved hands. The process is slow, deliberate, a dance of patience and precision. Once you have a small pile of potential fuel, you begin the delicate task of preparing your tinder. You carefully shave thin curls from a piece of dried wood, creating a fluffy, almost feathery pile that will readily accept a spark. Your fingers, though still numb, move with practiced ease, a lifetime of survival etched into their movements. You reach into your pack, retrieving the precious fire-starting kit, a piece of flint and a strike of light, perhaps a small piece of iron pyrite. The cold metal is shocking against your skin, but you ignore the discomfort, your focus absolute. You position the tinder carefully, creating a small nest, and then, with a steady hand, you begin to strike the flint against the metal, aiming for the shower of sparks to fall directly onto the prepared material. The first few attempts yield nothing but a dull clang, the sparks scattering uselessly into the snow. A flicker of frustration, quickly suppressed, passes through you. You adjust your grip, your angle, and try again. This time, a tiny, almost invisible spark lands on the tinder, and for a fleeting moment, nothing happens. Then, a wisp of smoke, thin and fragile, curls upwards, carrying with it the faint, earthy scent of burning wood. You hold your breath, carefully cupping your hands around the nascent flame, protecting it from the slightest breath of wind. You blow gently, steadily, coaxing the tiny ember to grow, to consume the tinder, to transform into a living flame. The wisp of smoke thickens, and then, with a sudden, triumphant flicker, a small flame ignites, dancing precariously on the edge of the tinder. A wave of profound relief washes over you, a warmth that has nothing to do with the physical heat of the fire, but rather the deep satisfaction of a challenge met, a victory won. You carefully add the smallest twigs, then the larger ones, nurturing the flame, watching it grow, its hungry orange tongue licking at the dry wood. The crackle and pop of the burning wood is a symphony in the silent wilderness, a comforting sound that speaks of life and warmth. The scent of wood smoke, sharp and resinous, fills the air, a primal perfume that signals safety and sustenance. As the fire grows, its warmth begins to radiate outwards, pushing back the oppressive chill, creating a small, flickering oasis in the vast, frozen expanse. You extend your hands towards the flames, feeling the blessed heat seep into your aching fingers, chasing away the numbness, bringing a tingling sensation that is both painful and profoundly welcome. The light of the fire dances on the snow, casting long, shifting shadows that seem to dance with you. A silent companion in this desolate land. You watch the flames, mesmerized by their hypnotic dance, a testament to the enduring power of human ingenuity against the raw forces of nature. The fire is more than just warmth. It is hope, it is life, it is a beacon in the endless night of ancient Siberia. With the fire now a steady, comforting presence, its warmth a tangible shield against the biting air, your attention turns to the layers that separate you from the raw, unforgiving cold, your clothing. In ancient Siberia, garments were not merely coverings. They were a second skin, meticulously crafted, imbued with the knowledge of generations, and essential for survival. You begin to assess your own attire, feeling the texture of the various furs and hides that make up your protective shell. The outermost layer, a heavy parka, is fashioned from the thick, insulating hide of a reindeer, its fur dense and hollow, trapping air to create an unparalleled barrier against the cold. You run your hand over its surface, feeling the coarse guard hairs and the softer, downy undercoat, a testament to the animal's own adaptation to this brutal climate. The hood, lined with the luxurious frost-resistant fur of a wolverine or wolf, frames your face, its long hairs designed to collect and freeze your exhaled breath, preventing ice from forming directly on your skin. You remember the painstaking process of preparing these hides, the scraping, the stretching, the arduous tanning with animal brains or plant extracts to make them supple and durable, resistant to cracking in the extreme cold. Beneath the parka, you wear layers of lighter, yet still incredibly warm garments. Perhaps a tunic made from the softer, more flexible hide of a young deer, or even finely processed fish skin, surprisingly strong and water-resistant when treated correctly. Your trousers are also of reindeer hide, perhaps reinforced at the knees, and seat with tougher, more resilient sections. Each seam is meticulously stitched with sinew, a natural thread derived from animal tendons, strong and resistant to rot. The stitches are tight, almost invisible, preventing any precious body heat from escaping. You feel the slight stiffness of the cured hide, the way it molds to your body over time, becoming a part of you. Your feet, perhaps the most vulnerable part of your body in this frozen world, are encased in multiple layers of protection. First, soft inner socks woven from dried grass or animal hair, designed to wick away moisture. Over these, thick felted boots made from compressed wool or fur, providing a soft, insulating cushion. Finally, the outer boots, crafted from the tough waterproof hide of a seal or the durable skin of a reindeer's lower leg, their soles reinforced with layers of hide or even bone for traction on the ice and snow. You flex your toes, feeling the comforting warmth, a stark contrast to the biting cold that still permeates the air around you. Your hands, too, are a marvel of layered protection. Inner mittens of soft, thin leather or felt, allowing for dexterity, are covered by large, bulky outer mittens made from thick fur, often with a separate thumb compartment for better grip. You pull them off for a moment, letting the fire's warmth seep directly into your aching fingers, watching the blood rush back, bringing with it a tingling sensation that is both painful and profoundly welcome. The intricate details of these garments speak volumes about the ingenuity and deep understanding of the environment possessed by your ancestors. Every stitch, every choice of material, every design element was a matter of life and death. The clothing was not just about warmth. It was about mobility, about durability, about the ability to withstand blizzarding winds and deep snows for extended periods. You imagine the hours spent by the women of your tribe, meticulously preparing hides, cutting patterns, and sewing, their fingers nimble despite the cold, their minds focused on the survival of their kin. The scent of cured hide, of smoke, and of the wild animals from which these garments came, clings to you, a constant reminder of your connection to the land and its creatures. As you adjust a strap on your parka, feeling the familiar weight and texture of the fur, you understand that these clothes are more than just protection. They are a legacy, a testament to the enduring human spirit that found a way to thrive, not just survive, in the heart of ancient Siberia's coldest nights. with the fire crackling merrily, casting its warm, dancing light across the snow, and your body feeling the blessed return of circulation, the gnawing hunger in your stomach becomes impossible to ignore. In ancient Siberia, sustenance was a constant, arduous pursuit, a delicate balance between the vastness of the land and the elusive nature of its inhabitants. You rise, stretching your stiff limbs, and begin to prepare for the hunt, for the land, though harsh, holds the promise of life. Your eyes, sharpened by necessity, scan the subtle contours of the snow, searching for tracks, for any sign of movement in the pristine white expanse. The air is still, crisp, carrying the faint, earthy scent of pine and frozen earth. You pick up your spear, its shaft of hardened wood, its tip of sharpened bone or flint, a silent extension of your will. The weight of it feels familiar, comforting in your hands. You check your bow, the sinews string taut, the arrows fletched with feathers, their tips keen and ready. The silence of the snow is both a blessing and a curse. It allows you to move stealthily, but it also means that every sound you make carries far across the frozen landscape. You move with a quiet grace, your snowshoes barely disturbing the surface, your breath held, your senses acutely attuned to the subtle whispers of the wilderness. You follow a faint trail, barely discernible to the untrained eye, a series of depressions in the snow that speak of a passing reindeer herd. Their tracks are deep, indicating their weight, and their direction suggests they are moving towards a sheltered valley, perhaps seeking out lichen and moss beneath the snow. The pursuit is a test of patience, of endurance. You trudge for what feels like hours, the sun, now higher in the sky, casting a blinding glare off the snow, forcing you to squint. The cold, though less intense than the night, is still a constant companion, a reminder of the unforgiving environment. Your muscles ache, your lungs burn with the effort, but the image of a successful hunt, of warm meat, of replenished strength, propels you forward. You imagine the taste of the rich, fatty meat, the way it would warm you from the inside out, providing the vital energy needed to survive another day, another night. Finally, after what seems an eternity, you spot them, a small herd of reindeer, their breath steaming in the cold air, their antlers like skeletal trees against the white backdrop. They are grazing, their heads down, digging through the snow with their broad hooves. Your heart quickens, a silent drumbeat against your ribs, but you force yourself to remain calm, to control your breathing, to move with deliberate, unhurried precision. You stalk them, using the terrain for cover, moving slowly, silently, until you are within range. The wind is in your favor, carrying your scent away from the wary animals. You draw your bow, the sinew groaning softly under the tension, your arm steady, your eye fixed on your target. The release is swift, almost silent, the arrow a blur against the white. A thud, a startled cry, and then the herd scatters, disappearing into the vastness, leaving one behind. You approach cautiously, your spear ready, but the animal is still. A wave of gratitude washes over you, a profound respect for the life you have taken, for the sustenance it will provide. The work of butchering is cold and messy, but necessary. You use a sharpened stone knife, its edge keen, to carefully skin the animal, preserving the hide for future use. The warmth of the fresh blood is shocking against your hands, a stark contrast to the pervasive cold. You carefully separate the meat, the organs, knowing that every part will be utilized, nothing wasted. The liver, still warm, is a delicacy, a rich source of nutrients that will immediately begin to replenish your depleted energy. As you carry the heavy load back to your camp, the sun beginning its slow descent once more, you feel a deep sense of accomplishment. The hunt was successful, the immediate threat of hunger averted. The scent of fresh meat, mingled with the lingering smell of wood smoke, promises a feast, a moment of respite in the relentless struggle for survival in ancient Siberia. With the success of the hunt bringing a temporary reprieve from hunger, another fundamental need, asserts itself with quiet urgency. Water. In a land where everything is frozen solid, where rivers become unyielding sheets of ice, and the ground is locked in permafrost, obtaining potable water is a constant, ingenious challenge. You return to your camp, the fire still glowing, its warmth a welcome embrace, and begin the meticulous process of transforming the frozen landscape into life-sustaining liquid. Your eyes scan the immediate vicinity, not for tracks or game, but for the purest, cleanest snow. You avoid snow that has been disturbed by animals or that lies too close to the ground, knowing it might contain impurities. You seek out the fresh, powdery drifts, untouched by the wind's abrasive touch, their crystalline structure promising purity. You gather handfuls of this pristine snow, its coldness biting at your bare hands even through your mittens, and place it carefully into a sturdy container. Perhaps it is a hollowed-out piece of wood, a large animal bladder, or a pot fashioned from clay, if your tribe has mastered such crafts. The container is then placed near the fire, close enough to feel the heat, but not so close that the snow melts too rapidly and overflows, or worse, scorches the container. The process is one of patience and careful observation. You watch as the snow at the bottom of the container begins to glisten, then to weep, slowly transforming into a small pool of liquid. The sound is almost imperceptible, a faint, gentle hiss as the ice yields to the warmth, a quiet symphony of transformation. As the first drops of water appear, you add more snow, carefully layering it on top of the nascent pool. This method, known to your ancestors for millennia, is crucial. Melting snow directly can lead to a burnt taste and can be less efficient. By adding fresh snow to already melting water, you create a continuous process, allowing the warmer water to melt the new additions from below. The air around the melting pot becomes humid, a small localized cloud of vapor rising from the surface, carrying with it the clean, fresh scent of pure water. You watch the process with a quiet intensity, your gaze fixed on the slow, deliberate transformation, understanding the profound importance of each drop. The water, once melted, is still incredibly cold, but it is liquid. It is life. You carefully scoop a small amount into a drinking vessel, perhaps a carved bone cup or a small, smooth stone bowl. The first sip is a revelation, a cool, clean sensation that washes away the dryness in your throat, hydrating your parched body from the inside out. You feel the chill of it as it travels down your esophagus, a refreshing shock that invigorates your senses. You drink slowly, savoring each mouthful, knowing that this precious liquid is as vital as the meat you have just acquired. The process of obtaining water from ice is not just a physical act. It is a ritual, a testament to the ingenuity required to survive in this extreme environment. It speaks of a deep understanding of the properties of ice and fire, of the delicate balance between the two. You continue to melt snow, ensuring you have enough water not just for drinking, but also for preparing food, for cleaning, for all the small, essential tasks that sustain life. The rhythmic sound of the melting snow, the gentle hiss, the occasional drip, becomes a soothing backdrop to your thoughts, a quiet reminder of the constant effort required to simply exist in this frozen world. As the container fills with clear, cold water, you feel a profound sense of gratitude, a quiet appreciation for the simple, yet profound, gift of liquid life in a land defined by its frozen stillness. As the days shorten and the grip of winter tightens its hold, the temporary solace of a snow cave or a rudimentary lean-to gives way to the pressing need for a more enduring sanctuary. You understand that true survival in ancient Siberia demands a dwelling that can withstand the relentless blizzards, the crushing weight of snow, and the ceaseless, bone-chilling cold for months on end. Your thoughts turn to the construction of a permanent home, a place of true refuge, a testament to collective effort and ancestral wisdom. You join your kin, or perhaps you are part of a smaller, more isolated family unit in the arduous task of building a dwelling that will defy the elements. The choice of structure depends on the available resources and the specific traditions of your people. Perhaps it is a semi-subterranean pit house, known as a zemlyanka, a dwelling dug partially into the earth, utilizing the insulating properties of the frozen ground itself. Or perhaps it is a sturdy, conical yurt, its framework of strong, flexible poles, covered with multiple layers of thick, felted animal hides. If it is a zemlyanka, the work begins with the laborious excavation of the frozen earth. Your tools are simple yet effective: sharpened antlers, sturdy wooden shovels, and perhaps even large, flat stones used as picks. Each scoop of frozen soil is a monumental effort, the ground unyielding, resisting your every attempt to break its icy grip. You feel the strain in your back, the ache in your arms, but the vision of a warm, secure interior drives you forward. The pit is dug deep enough to provide significant insulation, often several feet below the surface, creating a natural thermal mass that will retain heat. The excavated earth is then piled around the edges of the pit, forming a protective berm that further insulates the dwelling and deflects the wind. Over this pit, a sturdy roof structure is built, often using large timbers or whale bones if your people live near the coast. These are then covered with layers of smaller branches, woven mats, and finally, a thick layer of earth and sod, sometimes even snow, creating an incredibly effective insulating barrier. The entrance is often a narrow, low tunnel, designed to minimize heat loss, forcing you to stoop low as you enter, a symbolic act of humility before the warmth within. If it is a yurt, the construction is different, but equally demanding. Strong, flexible poles, often from birch or willow, are cut and shaped, then lashed together to form a conical or domed framework. This skeleton is then meticulously covered with multiple layers of heavy, felted animal hides, often reindeer or sheep, each layer carefully overlapped and secured to prevent drafts. The hides are incredibly thick, sometimes several inches deep, providing exceptional insulation. A smoke hole is left at the apex, allowing the smoke from the central fire pit to escape, while a removable flap or cover can be adjusted to control ventilation and heat retention. Inside either dwelling, the transformation is profound. The air, though still cool, is calm, still, and noticeably warmer than the biting cold outside. The walls, whether of earth or hide, absorb the sounds of the raging blizzard, creating a cocoon of quietude. A central fire pit, carefully constructed, becomes the heart of the home, its flickering light dancing on the interior surfaces, casting long, comforting shadows. You feel the subtle warmth radiating from the packed earth walls of the zemlyanka, or the soft, yielding texture of the fur-lined hides in the yurt. The scent of wood smoke, of cured hides, and of human presence fills the air, a comforting aroma that speaks of safety and community. Here, within these walls, you are truly sheltered, protected from the raw, indifferent power of ancient Siberia. This dwelling is more than just a structure. It is a sanctuary, a place where stories are told, where food is shared, where life endures against all odds. It is a testament to the collective spirit, the shared knowledge, and the unwavering determination of those who chose to call this frozen land home. Within the secure embrace of your permanent dwelling, the rhythm of daily life takes on a different cadence, one dictated by the constant need for maintenance, repair, and the creation of the essential tools that bridge the gap between human vulnerability and the raw power of the Siberian wilderness. You turn your attention to the implements that define your existence, the extensions of your hands and will, crafted from the very bones, stones, and wood that this land provides. Your fingers, now accustomed to the cold, move with a practiced dexterity as you select a piece of bone, perhaps a sturdy femur from a recently hunted reindeer. It is cold and smooth against your palm, but you see not just bone, but a potential needle, a scraper, a spear point. With a sharp stone flake, you begin the meticulous process of shaping. The sound of the stone striking bone is a crisp, rhythmic tap, tap, tap echoing softly within the enclosed space of the dwelling. You carefully chip away at the bone, guiding the flakes, slowly revealing the desired form. The work demands patience, precision, and an intimate understanding of the material's properties. You feel the subtle vibrations through your hand, the resistance of the bone, the satisfying snap as a piece breaks away. For a needle, you grind the bone against a rough stone, smoothing its surface, then carefully bore a tiny eye with a sharp, pointed tool, perhaps a sliver of flint. This needle, small and unassuming, is a vital link in your survival, allowing you to stitch together hides for clothing, repair torn shelters, or create bags for carrying provisions. You imagine the countless hours spent by your ancestors, hunched over similar tasks, their lives dependent on the sharpness of their tools, the strength of their stitches. Next, you might turn to a piece of flint, its surface dull and unassuming. With a hammerstone, you strike it with controlled force, sending sharp, conchoidal flakes spiraling outwards. The air fills with the faint, metallic scent of freshly fractured stone. You are not just breaking rock. You are revealing its hidden potential, transforming it into a razor-sharp knife, a sturdy scraper for preparing hides, or a keen arrowhead. You feel the sharp edges, the precise angles, understanding that this simple stone, when wielded with skill, can take down a mighty beast or carve intricate designs. The process is a dance between force and finesse, a deep understanding of how the material will respond to your touch. For larger tools, like a shovel or a digging stick, you select a piece of sturdy wood, perhaps a branch from a resilient larch. You use a stone axe to strip away the bark, then carefully shape the end, sharpening it to a point or flattening it into a broad blade. The scent of fresh wood, resinous and earthy, fills the air, a welcome contrast to the pervasive cold. You might also work on a sledge, essential for transporting heavy loads across the snow. You select long, flexible pieces of wood, bending them into runners, lashing them together with sinew or rawhide thongs. The work is communal, often involving several members of your family or tribe, each contributing their skill to the creation of these vital implements. You feel the smooth, cold surface of the finished tools, their weight and balance familiar in your hands. They are not just objects. They are extensions of your will, silent partners in your struggle for survival. Each tool tells a story of ingenuity, of adaptation, of the profound connection between human hands and the raw materials of the land. As the firelight flickers across the array of finished tools, glinting off the polished bone and sharp stone, you feel a quiet satisfaction, a deep sense of preparedness. These tools are your strength, your means of interacting with and shaping the formidable world of ancient Siberia, allowing you to not just endure, but to truly live. As the long, dark nights of winter deepen, a distinct rhythm settles over life within the permanent dwelling, a cadence dictated by the relentless cold and the short, precious hours of daylight. You awaken not to the sun's direct rays, but to the subtle shift in the quality of light filtering through the smoke hole or the narrow entrance, a pale, ethereal glow that signals the grudging arrival of another day. The air inside the dwelling, though warmer than outside, still carries a crisp chill, and you pull your fur blankets tighter, savoring the last moments of warmth before rising. The first task of the day is always the fire. You carefully tend to the embers, coaxing them back to life with a gentle breath, adding small pieces of kindling and larger logs. The crackle and pop of the rekindled flames fill the quiet space, a comforting sound that chases away the lingering shadows of the night. The scent of wood smoke, sharp and resinous, quickly permeates the air, a familiar and reassuring perfume. As the fire grows, its warmth begins to spread, slowly pushing back the pervasive chill, creating a central hub of activity. You prepare a simple meal, perhaps dried meat or fish, rehydrated in a pot over the fire, or a handful of preserved berries. The taste is earthy, nourishing, providing the vital energy needed for the day's tasks. Each bite is savored, a reminder of the effort required to obtain and preserve such sustenance. The short hours of daylight are precious, dedicated to essential outdoor tasks. You might venture out to check traps, carefully laid for smaller game like Arctic foxes or hares. Their fur is valuable for warmth, and their meat a welcome addition to the diet. You move with a quiet stealth, your eyes constantly scanning the snow for fresh tracks, your ears attuned to the subtle sounds of the frozen wilderness. Or perhaps you gather more firewood, a never-ending chore in this land of perpetual cold. You search for deadfall, for branches that have been snapped by the wind or heavy snow, knowing that every piece of wood is a vital resource. The work is physically demanding, your muscles protesting with each swing of the axe, each heavy load carried back to the dwelling. The cold bites at your exposed skin, forcing you to work quickly, efficiently, before the numbness sets in. As the pale light begins to fade once more, signaling the rapid approach of dusk, you retreat back into the warmth and security of your dwelling. The transition from the vast, indifferent outdoor world to the enclosed, communal space is a profound one. Inside, the long hours of darkness are filled with a different kind of activity. You might spend time repairing tools, sharpening knives, or mending torn garments, your fingers nimble despite the cold. The rhythmic scrape of a stone against bone, the soft rustle of sinew being pulled through hide, these are the sounds of survival, of preparation for the challenges ahead. Stories are told, ancient tales of hunts and heroes, of spirits and the land, passed down through generations, their words weaving a tapestry of shared history and wisdom. Laughter, though rare, is a precious sound, a brief flicker of joy in the face of relentless hardship. The fire, now a steady, glowing heart, casts long, dancing shadows on the walls, creating a hypnotic backdrop to the quiet hum of activity. You feel the warmth of your kin beside you, the shared breath, the silent understanding that binds you together in this isolated world. The scent of wood smoke, of human presence, of the cured hides that form your shelter, creates a unique and comforting aroma. As the night deepens and the wind howls its mournful song outside, you prepare for sleep, curling into your fur blankets, listening to the rhythmic breathing of those around you. The cold is still there, a subtle presence, but it is held at bay by the collective warmth, the shared resilience. The rhythm of winter in ancient Siberia is a testament to human adaptability, a quiet dance between endurance and ingenuity, a profound acceptance of the land's formidable power, and a deep appreciation for the simple yet profound act of simply existing. In the vast, silent expanse of ancient Siberia, where the individual was but a fragile spark against the overwhelming power of nature, the bonds of community and kinship were not merely comforting, they were the very bedrock of survival. You feel the warmth of shared breath, the subtle shift of bodies beside you, the quiet hum of activity that fills the dwelling, a constant reminder that you are not alone in this formidable world. The dwelling itself is a microcosm of your tribe, a place where roles are defined, where tasks are shared, and where the collective strength far outweighs the sum of individual efforts. You observe the elders, their faces etched with the wisdom of countless winters, their hands gnarled, but still capable. They are the keepers of knowledge, the storytellers who weave tales of successful hunts, of cunning animals, of the spirits that inhabit the land. Their words are a soothing balm, a connection to the past, a guide for the future. You listen intently, absorbing their lessons, understanding that their accumulated experience is a vital resource, as precious as any game animal or piece of firewood. The women of the tribe are the meticulous crafters, their fingers nimble as they prepare hides, stitching together garments that defy the cold, weaving baskets from willow branches, or fashioning intricate tools from bone and sinew. You watch their focused movements, the quiet dedication in their eyes, knowing that their tireless work provides the essential protection and comfort that allows everyone to endure. Their laughter, when it comes, is a bright, clear sound that cuts through the pervasive silence, a reminder of joy even in hardship. The hunters, strong and silent, are the providers, venturing out into the frozen wilderness to bring back the sustenance that feeds the community. You feel the shared anticipation when they depart, the quiet anxiety until their return, and the collective relief and gratitude when they bring back their bounty. The act of sharing food, of dividing the meat from a successful hunt, is a sacred ritual, a reaffirmation of the communal bond. No one goes hungry if there is food to be shared, for the survival of one is inextricably linked to the survival of all. Children, though small, are not idle. They learn from an early age, observing, imitating, slowly acquiring the skills that will one day ensure their own survival and the continuation of the tribe. You see their bright, curious eyes, their small hands mimicking the movements of their elders, their quiet play a testament to the enduring spirit of life. The communal fire, always burning at the heart of the dwelling, is more than just a source of warmth. It is a gathering place, a focal point for shared meals, for storytelling, for quiet contemplation. You feel the heat radiating outwards, a physical manifestation of the warmth of human connection. The scent of wood smoke, of cooking meat, of human presence, creates a unique and comforting aroma that defines the space. In moments of scarcity, when the hunt has been unsuccessful or a blizzard has confined everyone for days, the resilience of the community is truly tested. You witness the quiet determination, the shared resolve, the willingness to endure hardship together. There are no complaints, only a collective understanding of the challenges and a shared commitment to overcome them. The quiet strength that emanates from the group is palpable, a silent agreement to face whatever the land throws at them, together. The bonds of kinship extend beyond immediate family, encompassing the entire tribe, a network of support and mutual reliance. You understand that in this vast, indifferent land, your very existence depends on the strength of these connections, on the shared knowledge, the collective effort, and the unwavering spirit of unity. The quiet hum of human presence, the shared breath, the unspoken understanding, these are the true warmth that defies the coldest nights of ancient Siberia, a testament to the enduring power of community in the face of overwhelming odds. Beyond the tangible needs of warmth, food, and shelter, the ancient Siberians navigated a world imbued with a profound spiritual dimension, where every rustle of the wind, every creak of the ice, every animal track in the snow carried a deeper meaning. You feel the subtle presence of this unseen world, a quiet reverence that permeates every aspect of life, connecting you intimately to the vast, powerful land around you. The world is alive with spirits, the spirit of the forest, the spirit of the river, the spirit of the mighty bear, and the swift reindeer. You understand that these spirits are not distant deities, but active participants in your daily existence, capable of both benevolence and wrath. Respect for them is paramount, a delicate balance maintained through rituals, offerings, and a deep, intuitive understanding of the natural world. You recall the stories told around the fire, tales of shamans who could journey to the spirit world, communicating with ancestors and animal guides, seeking wisdom and healing. The shaman, a figure of immense power and respect, is the bridge between your world and the unseen, their drums beating a hypnotic rhythm that transports them to other realms, their chants echoing through the quiet dwelling. You imagine the trance, the visions, the profound connection to forces beyond human comprehension. Before a hunt, you might participate in a quiet ritual, an offering of tobacco, or a small piece of food, a silent prayer to the spirit of the animal, asking for its life to be given, promising that no part will be wasted. You feel the weight of this responsibility, the understanding that taking a life is a sacred act, not to be undertaken lightly. The respect for the animal is absolute, for its spirit will continue to exist, and its generosity ensures your survival. The land itself is a sacred entity, its mountains, rivers, and ancient trees holding powerful energies. You move through it with a quiet deference, acknowledging its power, its beauty, its indifference. You understand that you are but a small part of a much larger, interconnected web of life, and that harmony with this web is essential. The northern lights, when they dance across the night sky, are not merely a celestial phenomenon. They are the spirits of ancestors, or perhaps the spirits of animals, moving across the heavens, their ethereal glow a breathtaking display of cosmic power. You stand in awe, feeling the profound mystery of the universe, the vastness of the unseen world, a humbling experience that reminds you of your place within the grand design. The sounds of the wilderness, the howl of a wolf, the cry of an owl, the creak of ice on a frozen lake are not just sounds. They are messages, whispers from the spirits, warnings or blessings that you must learn to interpret. You listen intently, your senses attuned to these subtle communications, understanding that the land is constantly speaking, if only you know how to hear. Even the act of building a dwelling, of crafting a tool, is imbued with spiritual significance. You offer thanks to the trees for their wood, to the stones for their strength, to the animals for their bones and hides. Every material has a spirit, and by using it respectfully, you honor that spirit and ensure its continued benevolence. As you sit by the fire, listening to the quiet breathing of your kin, the flickering light casting long dancing shadows, you feel a deep sense of connection to this spiritual world. It is not a world of fear, but of profound respect, of quiet awe, of an understanding that life in ancient Siberia is a constant dance with forces seen and unseen, a testament to the enduring human need to find meaning and connection in the vast, indifferent wilderness. The whispers of the wind, carrying ancient tales, seem to echo this profound truth, a quiet reminder of the sacredness of all things. Even within the relative safety of your dwelling, the vast, frozen wilderness of ancient Siberia holds constant, unseen threats, and the primal instinct for vigilance remains ever present. You feel the subtle prickle of awareness, a heightened sense that never truly sleeps, for the wild is always near, its inhabitants moving silently through the snow, their presence a constant reminder of the delicate balance of life and death. The most formidable of these threats are the predators, the powerful hunters of the taiga and tundra. The wolves, their howls a chilling symphony that echoes across the frozen plains, and the bears, though often hibernating in winter, their presence a looming shadow in the warmer months. You know their habits, their territories, their cunning. The scent of their presence, carried on the wind, is enough to send a shiver down your spine, a primal response to a danger that has stalked your ancestors for millennia. At night, when the fire is low and the world outside is plunged into absolute darkness, every creak of the dwelling, every rustle of the wind against the hides, is amplified, transformed into a potential warning. You listen intently, your breath held, trying to discern the difference between the natural sounds of the settling snow and the deliberate movement of a large creature. The sound of a distant howl, long and mournful, sends a ripple of unease through the quiet space, a reminder of the pack's proximity. You imagine their eyes, glowing in the darkness, their keen senses picking up the scent of your presence, their hunger a palpable force. Traps are set around the perimeter of your camp, not just for game, but also as an early warning system. They're simple mechanisms designed to alert you to any approaching danger. You check them regularly, your eyes scanning the snow for any unusual tracks, any sign of intrusion. The tracks of a wolf, large and deliberate, are a stark reminder of their power, their ability to move silently and swiftly through the deepest snow. During the day, when you venture out for hunting or gathering, your senses are constantly alert. Your eyes scan the tree line, the distant ridges, the subtle undulations of the snow, searching for any movement that is not your own. You carry your spear or bow at the ready, your movements fluid and prepared for an instant response. The silence of the wilderness, though often peaceful, can also be deceptive, masking the approach of a predator, until it is too late. You learn to read the subtle signs, the sudden silence of the birds, the agitated movements of smaller animals, the faint, musky scent carried on the wind. These are the whispers of danger, signals that demand immediate attention. The fear is not a paralyzing terror, but a cold, sharp awareness, a constant companion that keeps you sharp, keeps you alive. It is the fear that makes you check your traps twice, that makes you listen more intently, that makes you move with greater caution. It is a healthy fear, born of respect for the power of the wild. You remember stories of close encounters, of desperate struggles, of the cunning and strength of the animals that share this land. These tales are not just entertainment. They are lessons, warnings, reminders of the constant vigilance required to survive. As you sit by the fire, the warmth, a comforting presence, you still feel the subtle hum of awareness, the quiet understanding that beyond the walls of your dwelling, the ancient, untamed wilderness waits, its inhabitants moving through the darkness, a constant, formidable presence. The sounds of the night, the rustle in the snow, the distant cry, these are the lullabies of ancient Siberia, a testament to the enduring struggle and the unwavering vigilance required to simply exist in a world where the wild is always near. Even with the most meticulous planning and the deepest understanding of the land, ancient Siberia could, and often did, present periods of profound scarcity, times when the hunt yielded nothing and the stored provisions dwindled to a perilous minimum. You feel the subtle tightening in your stomach, the quiet anxiety that settles over the community when the food stores begin to look sparse, when the tracks in the snow lead nowhere, and the days stretch on without a successful hunt. These are the times when ingenuity and resourcefulness become paramount, when every scrap, every overlooked possibility is explored with desperate determination. You learn to make every part of an animal count, far beyond what might be considered edible in more abundant times. Bones are not discarded. They are boiled repeatedly to extract every last bit of marrow and fat, creating a rich, nourishing broth that provides vital calories and warmth. The taste is earthy, primal, a testament to the absolute utilization of every resource. Hides, even after being used for clothing or shelter, might be boiled down to create a gelatinous, nutrient-rich substance, a last resort for sustenance. You might chew on strips of dried sinew, tough and fibrous, but offering a small amount of protein and a distraction from the gnawing hunger. Your eyes, sharpened by necessity, scan the landscape for anything that might offer sustenance, even in the depths of winter. You remember the locations of buried caches of dried berries or roots, carefully stored during the brief summer months, now frozen solid, but still edible. You dig through the snow, your hands aching with the cold, until you unearth the precious bounty, their taste a burst of concentrated sweetness against the blandness of your usual diet. You might search for lichen, scraping it from rocks and trees, knowing that while not highly nutritious, it can provide some bulk and prevent the worst pangs of hunger. The taste is bitter, earthy, a reminder of the desperate measures required. The community pulls together even more tightly during these lean times. Food, however scarce, is shared equally, ensuring that no one starves while others feast. You witness the quiet generosity, the unspoken understanding that binds everyone together in the face of shared hardship. The children, though their hunger is evident, are remarkably resilient, their small faces reflecting the quiet determination of their elders. Stories are told, not just of past abundance, but of past scarcities, of how ancestors endured even greater hardships, drawing strength from their resilience. These tales are not just entertainment. They are lessons in perseverance, reminders that the lean times will eventually pass, that the land will eventually yield its bounty once more. The silence in the dwelling during these periods is different. It is a silence of quiet endurance, of conserved energy, of a collective holding of breath, waiting for the turn of fortune. The fire, though still burning, might be smaller, its flames carefully managed to conserve precious fuel. Every movement is deliberate, every action weighed against its energy cost. You feel the subtle weakening in your limbs, the slight lightheadedness that comes with prolonged hunger, but you push through it, drawing on an inner reserve of strength, a deep-seated will to survive. The taste of the first successful hunt after a period of scarcity is a profound experience. The rich, warm meat, a revelation, a burst of energy that floods your body, chasing away the weakness. It is a moment of profound gratitude, a silent acknowledgement of the land's generosity, and a reaffirmation of the delicate balance between human existence and the unpredictable rhythms of ancient Siberia. These periods of scarcity are not just challenges. They are teachers, forging resilience, sharpening ingenuity, and deepening the bonds of community, proving that even in the face of profound want, the human spirit finds a way to endure. As the long, dark months of winter stretch into what feels like an eternity, a subtle, almost imperceptible shift begins to occur in the vast, frozen landscape of ancient Siberia. You feel it more than you see it at first. A quiet stirring in the air, a faint promise carried on the wind that whispers of change. This is the long wait for spring, a period of quiet anticipation, of enduring the last, most brutal assaults of the cold while holding on to the fragile hope of renewal. The days, though still short, begin to lengthen by the smallest increments. A few more minutes of pale light each morning, a lingering glow in the western sky each evening. You notice it first in the way the shadows fall, the way the light catches the snow, a subtle softening of the harsh, stark contrasts that have defined your world for so long. The sun, when it appears, feels a fraction stronger, its rays carrying a hint of warmth that penetrates the layers of your clothing, a fleeting, almost forgotten sensation. The air, though still biting, loses some of its sharp, crystalline edge, becoming slightly softer, less aggressive. You might notice the subtle drip of melting snow from the eaves of your dwelling on a particularly mild day, a tiny, almost inaudible sound that speaks volumes of the impending thaw. The sound of water, after months of frozen silence, is a profound and hopeful melody. The animals, too, begin to show signs of the approaching change. The tracks in the snow might become more frequent, more varied, as creatures stir from their winter slumber or begin their migrations. You might hear the distant call of a bird, a sound that has been absent for months, a harbinger of the life that will soon return. The quiet hum of activity within the dwelling takes on a different tone. There is a subtle lifting of spirits, a shared sense of anticipation. Stories of spring hunts, of abundant fish in the thawing rivers, of the vibrant green of new growth, are told with renewed enthusiasm, painting vivid pictures of the world that awaits. You find yourself spending more time outside, not just for essential tasks, but simply to observe, to feel the subtle shifts in the environment. You might stand on a ridge, gazing across the vast, snow-covered plains, imagining the rivers flowing freely once more, the forests bursting with new leaves, the tundra carpeted in wildflowers. The psychological toll of endless winter, the quiet weariness that settles deep in your bones, begins to recede, replaced by a quiet optimism. The constant battle against the cold, though still present, feels less overwhelming, less relentless. There is a sense of a finish line approaching, a promise of respite after months of arduous endurance. Yet you know that winter can still deliver its cruelest blows in its dying days. Blizzards can rage with renewed fury, temperatures can plummet unexpectedly, and the land can still claim the unwary. So, while hope blossoms, vigilance remains. You continue to tend the fire, to check your traps, to conserve your resources, understanding that the transition from winter to spring is a delicate and often unpredictable dance. But the signs are undeniable. The days are growing longer, the sun is gaining strength, and the subtle whispers of life are beginning to stir beneath the vast blanket of snow. You feel a deep, quiet gratitude for having endured, for having survived another winter in this formidable land. The long wait for spring is a testament to human patience, to the unwavering belief in the cyclical nature of the world, and to the profound resilience of those who call ancient Siberia home. The quiet strength that has carried you through the darkest nights now transforms into a hopeful anticipation, a readiness to embrace the renewal that is slowly, inexorably approaching. And then, almost imperceptibly at first, the true arrival of spring begins to unfold across the vast, ancient landscape of Siberia, a slow, majestic awakening after months of frozen stillness. You feel the profound shift in the air, a softening of the biting chill, replaced by a crisp, fresh breath that carries the scent of thawing earth and nascent life. The sun, now higher in the sky, casts a golden light that no longer feels indifferent, but warm, nurturing, coaxing the world back to life. The snow, which has been your constant companion and formidable adversary, begins its slow, deliberate retreat. You hear the gentle, rhythmic drip of melting ice from the eaves of your dwelling, a soothing symphony that replaces the mournful howl of the wind. Small rivulets of water begin to carve paths through the snowdrifts, their murmuring flow a testament to the land's reawakening. The rivers, once unyielding sheets of ice, begin to groan and crack, their surfaces breaking into vast, shifting flows that drift downstream with a powerful, unstoppable force. The sound is immense, a deep, resonant rumble that speaks of liberation, of the land shedding its frozen shackles. You watch in awe, feeling the raw power of nature's transformation. Beneath the melting snow, the first tentative signs of green begin to emerge, tiny shoots pushing through the thawing earth, their vibrant color a shocking contrast to the long months of white. The forests, once stark and skeletal, begin to bud, their branches adorned with the delicate promise of new leaves. A soft, verdant haze spreading across the landscape. The air fills with the sounds of returning life, the chirping of birds, their songs a joyous chorus after the long silence. The buzzing of insects, a sign of the warmth to come, and the distant calls of animals stirring from their winter slumber or returning from their southern migrations. The reindeer herds, once scattered and scarce, begin to gather, their numbers swelling as they move towards the rich, new pastures of the thawing tundra. The hunt becomes less arduous, the land more generous, providing the sustenance that replenishes your depleted stores and strengthens your weary body. You feel the renewed energy in your limbs, the lightness in your step, a profound sense of relief and gratitude. The dwelling, which has been your sanctuary through the darkest nights, now feels less like a fortress and more like a comfortable home. Its walls still offering protection, but no longer feeling like a prison. The smoke hole allows the fresh, clean air to circulate, carrying with it the sense of the revitalized world outside. Life takes on a new rhythm, one of preparation for the brief, intense summer months. You mend nets for fishing, prepare tools for gathering, and begin to plan for the storage of the abundant resources that the land will soon offer. The cycle of life, so starkly defined by winter's grip, now moves into a phase of growth and renewal, a testament to the enduring power of nature's rhythms. As you stand on the threshold of your dwelling, gazing out at the transforming landscape, you feel a deep connection to this ancient land, a profound understanding of its cycles, its challenges, and its boundless generosity. You have endured, you have adapted, and you have survived. The quiet strength that carried you through the coldest nights of ancient Siberia remains, a testament to the unwavering human spirit, a legacy passed down through countless generations. The journey through winter has forged a resilience within you, a deep appreciation for warmth, for sustenance, for community, and for the simple, yet profound, act of living. The quiet passage of time continues, and with it, the enduring story of human perseverance in the face of the world's most formidable embrace. And so, as the last echoes of the ancient Siberian winds fade into the quiet hum of your own space, you can feel the lingering chill of that vast, frozen world gently receding from your mind. The crackle of the fire, the scent of wood smoke, the profound silence of the snow-covered plains, These images begin to soften, to blur, like distant memories on the edge of sleep. The resilience of those who faced such formidable nights, their quiet strength and unwavering spirit, now settles within you, a comforting thought as the world outside your window continues its own gentle turning. You are safe, you are warm, and the echoes of their endurance have brought you to this peaceful moment. Let the last whispers of their journey guide you now, as the quiet of the night deepens around you, and the world outside drifts into its own gentle slumber.